Frazier and Maestro styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
Yo, what up, folks? Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We are streaming live on Twitter, on the Facebook page, live on YouTube, on Instagram, and on our Twitch channel. It's your boy Trey Frazier, and that's the homie Maestro Styles.
Yes, sir.
What's good, man? What's going on?
Cooling, man. Noticing your clap every week now.
Oh, yeah, a little baby joint, right?
Not the baby. I'm talking about the welcome to the podcast. We on Facebook. I'm noticing it stronger and stronger every week. But I'm good, man. How you?
Doing great, man. Stuck in DC traffic most of the afternoon, but made it here. All's good with the family. It's hot as hell. Man, enjoying the summer. Got some great news that on a personal side that I'll share offline with you after this podcast. But tonight should be a great show. Quick shout out to the homie Microwave. He was on with us last week. We were doing the NFC East Division preview for the upcoming NFL season. This week we're going to be doing the NFC South. And we got a couple of guests coming through. Hopefully, we'll have Sheena Quick, beat reporter for the Carolina Panthers, come through in a few minutes. And then we'll have Sonja Pearson, who is the founder of the Carolina Pantherettes Fan Club. And she also has a sports podcast on YouTube called Prim and Proper Sports. And so, she'll come on a little bit after that, and we'll talk NFC South, we'll talk Panthers, and see what kind of stuff is going on there down in Carolina, and talk about her her fan club and how she got set up and all that good stuff. So so looking forward to it. Looking forward to this stuff. But I wanted to start off with the Knicks. And this, the news came down right after we did the pod last week. Mike Brown is the new head coach of the New York Knicks. I think he signed a 5-year deal. I think $9 million a year. Okay, I want to say it was. So I got a couple thoughts, and they did the little, press conference today to introduce himself and all that to the media. I'll be clear on just this one thing, and then I'll kind of expand. Mike Brown is a retread coach. He's a good coach.
A who?
Retread.
Okay.
Mike Brown is a retread coach. I don't think I have to go through all the particulars. Coach LeBron James in Cleveland, coached the team in the finals that one year in 2007. Then they let him go after LeBron left the first time. I believe he worked with the Cavs again under a second stint for maybe a year or 2 years. Then he got the Lakers job when they had Kobe and Dwight and Steve Nash and that, and that crew of Lakers players. Started off that 1 year, they made the playoffs, lost in the first round, and then they started off 13-18, I think, and then they let him go, kind of close to the midseason after that. And then, which I think is his biggest accomplishment, reviving the Sacramento Kings. And the Sacramento Kings missed the playoffs, 17 straight seasons. He goes there. They win 48 games a couple of years ago. They were the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. Lost in the first round. Backed it up with a 46-win season. Lost in that playoffs. They lost the play-in. They was in a play-in and they lost the play-in.
Missed the playoffs.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And then this past year, didn't start off so well.
Missed the
They
playoffs.
fired him. What's that?
You said revive the Kings. I would lead to he had 2 winning seasons with the Kings. So I don't think the Kings are revived. It's more what I was where I
Well,
was
at
getting
that
at.
point, well, at that time he got there.
Well, let's be clear. One winning season. I don't think one winning season revives
Well,
a team.
two winning seasons.
Okay, sure, but they didn't make the playoffs.
I know
So
it's 2 winning seasons though.
that I don't think the Kings are revived on one winning season where you make the playoffs and a second winning season where you don't make the playoffs. I don't think the franchise is revived from 17 years of.
I'm saying at the time he got there in the first year that they won the 48 games. To me, that's a if you want to call it a short revival, cool. But nonetheless,
let's just say he had a winning season. Let's just say he had 2 successful seasons, and truly.
Mm-hmm.
The second season was not successful because you didn't.
I get it. I get it. I get it. You want a loaded conference, and you
missed the results are the results. No matter how loaded the conference is, you didn't make the playoffs.
That's the reason. But that's part of the reason why. Like you have to consider everything. I'm just considering everything. I'm not just leaving it to one thing here. They won 40. They won 46 games. They won 2 less games than they did that previous year.
Mm-hmm.
In a loaded West, but they slid, I don't know what, 5 or 6 spots in the standings, I think.
But the West was also loaded the year before. So I'm saying that all I'm saying the only thing I'm attacking is the Sacramento Kings were
You're saying it's not a revival.
It's not a revival. And let's be clear, they went right.
So why is it not a revival?
Because making the playoffs one year is not a revival. They went right back to being a non-existent team right after that first season in the playoffs. So it's like it's not a revival.
Well, I would say they became non-existent. They let go of Mike Brown and they traded De'Aaron Fox. I think that's the moment. I think that's the moment they became non-existent.
I think they became non-existent when they didn't make the play, when they lost in the play-in. And again. So to have
I disagree, but I hear you. I hear you.
Tomato. Mike Brown is the coach of the New York Knicks. Your point is that he was a coach that has been through the ringer. I'm more interested in what your thoughts were of the hiring.
Well, I think it was let me not say it was the best hire out there because people are going to say Mike Malone was out there.
And would you agree with that?
That he was the best hire or that he wasn't the best hire? That
Mike Malone is a better hire than Mike Brown.
I would say yes, just because Mike Malone's won a championship. It's Mike Malone's that was his only coaching job with the Nuggets, right? He was
I'm aware of that. Nothing else rings a bell comes to me right now.
Okay, so yes, I would venture to say that Mike Malone would have been a better hire on face value and on just that he has more of a catalog of coaching in a championship situation.
Are you more okay? Do you prefer, and I'm only asking Trey, not what other people say, do you prefer Mike Brown over Mike Malone?
I would prefer Mike Malone.
Understood.
But I'm cool. But I'm cool.
But you're okay with Mike Brown?
With Mike Brown. I'm cool with Mike Brown. I like some of the things that he did just previously. I'm only just going off of previously, more recent with Sacramento. Because he's known to be a defensive coach, but that defense wasn't great. That defense in Sacramento wasn't great, but offensively, they were putting up points. And I think with this roster, with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and the OG and the Mikal Bridges, I think that he can find ways to be able to get these players more, to make the offense better, like to make it look different, to make it, look, more efficient. So that's the one thing I'm excited about as far as Mike Brown is concerned. But again, retread coach. But I'm cool with I'm cool with Mike Brown. I'm excited to see how different this is going to look.
Okay. Well, good for the. If you like it, I love it. I what I will say is, congratulations to Mike Brown first and foremost. I ain't never mad
Yeah.
at a black man getting a head coaching job. And to
Yep.
get a head coaching job for the New York Knicks, the New York Knicks are New York Knicks.
Hmm.
Who
And for the fifth time, like this is his fifth head coaching stint. Like, for black man,
Well, I'm
that's
happy. Yeah, for sure.
you
I'm
know,
happy.
what I'm saying?
Again,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just happy that a black man got a coaching job. Do I think this is the best fit? I won't say. I won't say that I know if Mike Brown is the best fit for the New York Knicks.
Hmm.
What I'll say, based on what I've just heard you say, and I'm really only basing this on his stint in Sacramento,
Hmm.
is sure, rotations may be better with Mike Brown than they were with Tom Thibodeau,
Hmm.
but a more defensive minded coach in Mike Brown
Hmm.
that in the past 3 years got better offensive efficiency goes to a team where we got two starters who are defensive liabilities.
Yeah.
So what I would be concerned with is uh, look, sure, maybe you score if your average. I don't, and this is just me spitball. And I don't know what their averages are. If your average was 115 points a game and you push it to 117, 120, 120 points a game, but you
Hmm.
don't win the NBA championship this year.
Right.
Um, and not only do you not win the championship, but some of the same issues you had with Tom Thibodeau, meaning defense arises with Mike Brown. What are we doing? My second concern would be,
Hmm.
maybe you have the answer for me because I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's been a underlying topic is what's going to happen with Jalen Brunson's dad? Is he gonna still be on staff?
Yeah. He'll
Uh,
be on the staff.
okay, you know that for a fact.
I know that for a fact.
Okay,
He'll
okay,
be on the staff.
okay.
And quite frankly,
And good move for Mike
the
Brown,
Knicks
by the
would
way.
be, yeah, for sure. And quite frankly, the Knicks would be foolish to let Rick Brunson go someplace
Oh, so
else,
you haven't
knowing
confirmed this.
that.
You just are confident that it's going to happen.
No, they confirmed it that
Oh, okay,
he's going to
okay,
be part
okay.
of it. I'm just saying, kind of in retrospect, while they were trying to find a coach and figure out who's going to be back on the staff versus last year, Rick Brunson for me, he's a lock. Regardless of who the coach was,
But
Rick
that don't
Brunson was a
necessarily.
lock.
I mean, not to beat a dead horse because you said it's been confirmed he's going to be there,
Hmm.
but we do know that coaches like to bring their guys in. So
Of course.
even though Trey Frazier as New York Knicks fan and at this point media coverage guy feels like it would be a foolish to let Rick Brunson go. That don't necessarily mean Mike Brown would have felt that way. And that
No,
does
that's true. That's true.
and that also doesn't mean and it also doesn't mean like just because if Rick Brunson leaves, and look,
Hmm.
I agree, Rick Brunson should stay. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that Jalen Brunson's play is going to decline because of that. If anything, it
Right.
could, maybe, God, I don't know. This is just speculation.
Yeah.
Throwing shit at the
Hmm.
wall, seeing if it stick. Um, his daddy not being around could be a benefit to him in how he goes about his game and how he goes about his
Maybe.
day to day. All those
Maybe.
things. I'm not saying that's true, and I don't believe that's true. I'm just
Hmm.
saying all that to say. I mean, and again, it's beating a dead horse because we know. You said to me for a fact Rick Brunson's going to be there,
Yeah.
but for me, it's like coaches like to bring in this. It was an underlying topic. Is the new coach going to clear out the staff, the coaching
Hmm.
staff, and bring in his guys? And
Yeah.
like I said, good job on Mike Brown and my personal decision. Mike Brown should have Rick Brunson on the staff. He should
Hmm.
be trying to do whatever it takes to make Jalen Brunson off the court feel good, feel comfortable, so he can perform on the court.
And Mike Brown should also be able to bring in some of his guys also. Like I think it
Sure.
should be a two-way. It should be a two-way street. Like
And I'm
Mike Brown. Mike
I'm not.
Brown should
Go ahead.
have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And let's remember too, they hired a coach after the draft, after free agency, and the Knicks, was able to sign a couple of bench players, Jordan Clarkson and the kid Yasabule from the Sixers.
Yeah.
So that that helps to strengthen the bench. And I didn't even bring that up when we were talking about what he can do for the team. To me, in my opinion, I think Mike Brown will have a better utilization of the bench. And yes, the bench is better than last year's bench. Let's get that out the way, because folks out here are saying, well, Tibbs didn't play the bench because he didn't have a bench. And part of that is true. I think the other part of it is that he didn't give the guys enough burn during the regular season to really get a feel for how he can use those guys come postseason time.
Right.
So, yeah, I think two things can be true. Like, the bench was not good it wasn't as good last year. This year, with the two additions, they've strengthened the bench, in my opinion. If Tibbs was still the coach, I believe he would play 9 guys with a better, strengthened bench. But in this case, it's Mike Brown. Mike Brown will definitely utilize the bench at his discretion. I think there will be moments throughout the regular season where guys like Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, OG, I think those guys will take some rest on certain nights. Tibbs never liked the rest guys. Tibbs was always trying to win regular season games as if they were game 7s of, the NBA finals. So maybe doing it different will come out to be a bright spot, down the end. Let's just hope so.
Yeah. Shouts out to the Knicks. And I mean, from my vantage point, more importantly, shout out to Mike Brown again for getting another gig. Like I said, we ain't never met another black man getting a gig.
Yeah, unless you Doc Rivers.
I want to point out. I don't know if you can change this in the middle of the podcast, but
I think I can change it. I was trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah, I just realized. I literally just realized it. So
I realized it like the moment we got on live, and for some reason, I'm not even sure I can fix this, or maybe I can.
Okay, well, no worries. If you figure it out, pre-talk. There you go. There we go. There you go.
Hey man, always doing some stuff on the fly, man.
Yeah. So hey man, I will say this, man. The Wizards just picked up Cam Whitmore the other day, and that's been kind of in Wizards.
He was with the Rockets, right?
Yeah, we got him for a couple of second rounders. I don't know if you remember that draft where we drafted the Koulibaly that year, but I was on this podcast saying, hey man, we need to go get Cam Whitmore. I
don't remember that, but
sure.
If you called that, then hey.
Well, I didn't call it because they drafted Koulibaly, but I wanted them to draft Cam Whitmore.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I am happy that we got him. He was clearly underutilized in Houston, but I'm happy he's here in Washington. He's from Anne Arundel County, not for nothing. I am happy for that. I get, to everybody that's going to say, the Wizards are a little wing player heavy right now. Cool. I would prefer the healthy competition between him, Koulibaly, that rookie. I forget the rookie's name right away. But Cam Whitmore is somebody that we need on our team. I will say this. I feel a little like we cooking. This is what I'll say about the Wizards right now. We cooking. I'm not talking about going, being an 8 seed this year or, nothing like that. I'm just saying that we are putting together young pieces right now, and I am happy with that. I didn't realize we was paying Chris Middleton. I think we paying Chris Middleton like $33 million, and I just saw that the other day, and I ain't like that.
He opted out of a current deal, and then he re-upped for like 1 year, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money for Chris Middleton in my personal book, but we got to give the money to somebody. So whatever,
and not even the veteran minimum, like not even that.
Again, we got to get the money to somebody. I mean, literally, we don't have a big contract on our books. Last I checked, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the chat, but that's the contract. You know what I'm saying? So so I can't be mad. I love what Will Dawkins is doing right now. Like let's just embrace this youth movement. We've seen Detroit do it. We've seen Oklahoma do it. Obviously, Will Dawkins is from that Sam Presti tree. So I leave it into the hands of the experts that are getting paid millions of dollars to do it.
So what did you think about that Ace Bailey situation draft night where the Wizards had the 5th pick? Wizards had the 6th pick. The Jazz had the 5th pick. And I think right as the Jazz was about to pick, like there was I'm tracking Twitter, and there was conversations amongst a couple of Wizards people that they thought Ace Bailey was going to be the guy to fall to the Wizards. And, knowing that, also knowing that he had put out some kind of statement, or his team put out some kind of statement saying, hey, these are the teams that I don't want to go to. The Wizards was not on that list, by the way. He preferred to be in DC. And the Jazz, which appeared to be on his list, the Jazz went ahead and picked him. And, everybody's reacting to his reaction on stage and the interview, and shout out to him too, because his representation is all Black representation. I know they've been getting criticized for, I guess, how they've been dealing with I guess his reaction to it, the way he, I guess, approached certain things pre-draft, the way they kind of approach things, pre-draft. But the fact that they got an all Black representation representing him, I think is pretty dope. But were you aware of Ace Bailey? Like, did you want Ace Bailey as a Wizards fan?
To be honest, I mean, I wouldn't have said no. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm going to keep it a buck. I mean, and to be honest, I mean, what my plans was. My plans was go get Queen from Maryland, and then whatever guard falls down at 18, we'll live with it, and that, and obviously, I mean, I said that before I knew Jordan Poole got traded, but you know what I'm saying? I'll live.
But that kind of changed things for you in terms of how you looked at the draft. Was Jordan Poole trade, right?
No, not necessarily, because we ended up getting the guard. We ended up getting the guard. The 1-2 punch with Bud Currington. So what it said to me when Jordan Poole was traded is, okay, we're clearly not going to get Queen. We're going to go get a guard, up high in the draft. Right. And and then I wasn't expecting them to go get another wing player down at 18, or I think they even traded them a little further back than that. I wasn't expecting them to go get a wing back there, but but that means they was all in because this was a guard heavy draft. Particularly at the front of the draft. So they was all in on that. We went and got Trey from Texas. And it just is what it is. I think it's from Texas, but we got some, and it just is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I was so engulfed in college basketball this season, where it was like, yo, we got to get Ace Bailey, or we got to get Edgecombe. And by the way, who I seen was balling the other day, Edgecombe and Bailey. I heard got a little burn in the summer, the summer league, but
right.
It's not, I wasn't sold on nobody. Get a good guard in the first first round. That's what I was bent on, and I was more bent
Mm.
on getting Slim from Maryland just because he was a body, and I knew he was gonna be a project, but I know he was stocky. You know what I'm saying? Presence in the paint. It was more what I was feeling like we was lacking. But we're gonna go the small route. Like I said, I can't be mad at it. Oklahoma City is thriving with that, not small, but tall and lanky type of energy.
Mm-hmm. And they go small. Like for the most
And
part, they do go small at times.
and they can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see what Will Dawkins got in mind. I'm not sure if the coach kind of get us to the next step, but he's here as for right now. I like what Will Dawkins is doing. I can't lie. I like what he's doing. So I will wait and see how it pans out in the next 2 years.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. All right. Looks like our guest for the week is ready to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Miss Sonja Pearson on with us this week. She's one of the hosts of the Prim and Proper Sports channel on YouTube, which you could check out, follow, subscribe to the channel. Also, the founder of the Carolina Pantherettes Lady Fan Club, which you can also find on your web at carolinapantherettes.com. Sonja, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you.
Welcome.
How's everything?
Good evening, guys. Thank you so much, Trey and Maestro Styles, for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm super honored. I'm doing well, and I hope that you all are as well.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I can't complain. I can't complain. So let's talk about the podcast. What got you started in the podcast? And let's talk about your Carolina Panther fandom.
So even though I live in Atlanta, I'm born and raised in North Carolina. I've been in Atlanta literally now longer than I lived in the Carolinas. However, home is home. Mm-hmm. And back in 2014, actually, I decided that I was going to get into some sports. My uncle and myself were super close, and he was like a second dad to me after my dad passed. And so I found that was a common bond for us to talk. Like, he was really, really quiet, but except when it came to sports. So I kind of, used that as a way to connect with him. And then I was just like, let me start like a little group of my friends that I grew up with that like sports. And that's how it started. And for like a little while, it was just maybe about 50 or so ladies. I was like, let's just do like a little fan page. They're like, okay. And then the Panthers started being undefeated the next year. And it took off. Like, I don't know to this day how it took off. But before I knew it, there were a lot of military women. Shout out to them for joining our group. And they started sharing it abroad. And literally you could find the group. We sit close to about 12,000 members. We have a private page as well. There was more. Yeah, there was more when we were, had Cam. I like to call it, a lot of Camonites that were on our page. And so, but we have about 7,500 still active on Facebook right now. On IG, there's another like 1,600. And then there's people that don't have social media that are also members. So I started that club, and it took off. And we have tailgates. We do a lot of nonprofit type work. We do back to school drives and stuff like that for domestic violence sometimes. We got to pick back up. We kind of got a little lax during the pandemic, but I have some ladies that hold the page down because there's no way I could do it all by myself. I have some ambassadors. So shout out to them. I know they're probably watching. And Pink Fan Fur, who is a super fan, is the one that's responsible for handling my emails and all of that stuff. And
yes, really, she did the promo. She did the IG promo for you and for us. That was
appreciate it.
Yeah, she's really awesome. And I met her, like, I didn't know her outside of the group. Like, these are ladies that join the group. And then we have a regular page that Panthers fans can find and follow, even if you're not a lady. But the podcast scene, it kind of went into sync. I started just talking about Panther stuff. And then I started paying attention. I kind of had the rule, know your enemy. So I started watching opponents that we were playing, and I found myself getting even more interested. Like, okay, you got to watch these guys and see what they look like. So when we have to play them, we'll know what that looks like. And so before I knew it, it got into just all football. Then it went into all sports. A couple of years ago, I was picked up by National Streaming Sports. Shout out to Linda and Mac. Unfortunately, we lost Mac a couple of months ago. He was the producer
rest in peace.
Yes, reached out to me and got me even more mainstream. But I've been podcasting for like 10 years and everything is just really growing. And I'm super excited and I love sports. So that's the Reader's Digested version, if I could get it there.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, you talked about some of your fans in the fan club. Just, some quick shout outs here. All things football from a lady's perspective.
What up?
Hi,
Watching us on Facebook Live, and then also the group Carolina Pantherettes. Joining us on the Facebook Live as well. Quick shout out to you, Mocha Bella. Of course, A1 regular for us.
What up?
And and the homie C Hen.
What up, though?
Okay.
Yep.
He's from Detroit.
Yeah. Big Lions fan. Big
yeah,
Lions
I have
fan.
I just started another show, so just to plug in, and then I'll let y'all get to the questions.
Absolutely.
I promise.
Go ahead.
I'm not used to being a guest, as you probably can tell. So myself, I did a spinoff, Prim and Proper Sports, of the network that I have like NFL players have come on before, celebrity athletes. Renee Washington is one of them. Just a lot of different women and men that come on. And I had Sports Talk Deb on a little bit not long ago, Deb Wickes. And so it was super exciting. Had NBA players come on there. It's a lot. So I've had a lot of connections through National Streaming Sports. And so with that being said, I have my own segment on Fridays. It's Friday with the Fellas. It's something I came up with. It's just a group of guys, a lot of them from the NFC South, and we sit down and talk sports. But we also started tomorrow night. I have my regular 9:00. I'll be having a gentleman, Dennis Cockerham, on with his band who will be playing at the Hall of Fame induction the ceremony. So another person that I've met, and then so he'll be on tomorrow night at 9. But Thursday night we just started a new show called the No BS Show, and it's it's lowercase K, capital N, capital O, W. BS, because my co-host is Brian Arndt B. Strilla. He's from Detroit, and so we came up with that show for Brian and Sonja. So it's the No BS Show, and that comes on Thursday, where we combine sports and make sure stuff is no BS.
Okay,
I like that.
That's what's
I like that.
We love plugging on this show. We love plugs. So plug, for sure.
We're on our 5th episode. We just started that show, so
that's
Great. Yeah, wishing you many, many more for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's get straight to the shit then. Let's talk the NFC North. NFC North, South. I'm sorry, pardon. And I heard myself saying it, and I still said it. NFC South.
We can talk North. I know them all, but
I think we got North next week. We got NFC South. Well, I guess we can't talk NFC South without talking about the Carolina Panthers first, as you are our guest. So we will allow you the floor. What is the status of the Carolina Panthers right now? How you feel about the Panthers? I guess you can kind of give us a short synopsis of last year, and I guess kind of projections and how you feel about them going into this year.
Well, so the short version is last year we started to improve towards the second half of the season. Bryce Young looked like he was maturing. I say the best thing that happened to him was that sabbatical. Everybody says benched. I say sabbatical because it's my quarterback. And that was good for him mentally and physically, I think. Andy Dalton had this accident that they said was, affecting his throwing. But let's be clear. I don't really believe that. I don't think he was that injured that he could not have taken the field. I think it was just an opportunity for the Panthers to bring Bryce back because they sold the farm to get him. Like they literally, we just paid him off. Literally, he was on a layaway plan for the last 2 years. So with this draft, we just paid everybody back. So we finally starting from scratch. And we got him paid in full and in due time because the maturation has really matched. In week 10, I believe it was, he was the number 1 rated quarterback in the league. And so we saw a lot of close calls with teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. I call them the Chiefs. They're not the Chiefs to me. And so anytime you could come that close as an underdog of beating them, then it's an opportunity for you to win. The Panthers did a lot this season to get Bryce some help. Everybody's talked about our O-line, which they used to rave about it. Now it was like, you got to be brave about it. That O-line was folding up like lawn chairs. But this year in the draft, the Panthers got T-Mac. They got, of course, Horn coming back to the table. That's going to be definitely acclimating with them. And then if you look at everything else, the sources out there are looking at everybody. They're actually projecting us to do 6.5 wins. I'm bold enough. I'm going to say double-digit wins this season. I think we're really going to make a big.
Ooh.
I mean, starting with the South, and we getting the brooms and mops out for them.
You're talking about a division crown right there.
Yeah.
Yes. If you think about it like that, if we take those 3 teams out, we have a chance of solidifying. And I've already gone through the whole roster, the whole schedule, and basically done our dubs and our L's. Only team I'm really worried about a real loss is the Buffalo Bills on our schedule this season. Bryce has done a lot of development. He looks solid. They've already named T-Mac that wide receiver 1. That's pretty big because we haven't had a wide receiver since we got DJ Moore over to the Bears. And so it was important to replace those big people. Then Shaq Thompson, of course, on the defense was the cornerstone and the last of the original players of the Super Bowl team that we had. So it was important to get people in place. And now that these puzzle pieces are all over the place and coming together, we're looking for a picturesque season. And we coming. That's all your audience needs to know is we coming.
So the other division y'all playing in the NFC, y'all playing the entire NFC West. Is that correct?
So it's the let me see.
I'm about to say it because I was more interested.
We got the AFC North as well because we got the Bills this season as well, and we do have. I think it is the West.
Y'all got the West. So
you got the schedule. I'm about to say. Ooh, yeah,
No, she about to pull it up.
You guys.
No, when she said the only team she worried about is Buffalo.
With the Buffalo Bills, and I'm like,
because so we starting off with the Jaguars, cats versus cats. And I'm not bent on Trevor Lawrence, right? He got all this money. He has not been solid.
Understandable.
Since. I'm not concerned about him. I'm not concerned about Kyler Murray and them Cardinals. Yeah, it is.
I get it.
Okay. If you're playing another West team, I'm going to ask you, if you're playing the Rams, you not concerned about the LA Rams?
Why would I be?
Whoa.
Why would I be concerned?
I want to hear the rest of the schedule because I want to hear the rest of the schedule, Trey. Let her read the rest of the schedule.
I'm pulling it right while we talking. See, y'all let me tell y'all something. They put the questions out to me. I should have known, as they say, I should have known that y'all was going to try to pull a rabbit out the hat over here.
Because there ain't no way.
We playing the Raiders. We playing the Dolphins.
Okay.
We not, hang on, guys. Hang on.
Take your time.
Y'all got me. I went through the whole schedule on one of my shows just not too long ago. And I'm getting ready to tell you exactly what I said. I'm pulling up my notes on it because
I got the schedule up on my side, but I'll let you cook.
No, because did my ears hear me right, Trey? Did I hear that they played the AFC North this year?
No. They play the NFC West.
NFC West.
They got the whole West.
We're playing, but we have the Patriots and the Bills on our schedule.
Oh, you got the East. You got the East.
So they got the AFC East. So they got the whole AFC East.
Gotcha. Okay, I was making sure I didn't hear that.
I can understand her being not concerned about anybody else but Buffalo. Yeah,
I can understand that. Now, I'm not going. You are a guest, and it's a cardinal rule of mine to not lie to guests.
No, be honest.
No, ain't no way in hell y'all going double-digit wins. Ain't no way in hell it's happening.
We're not going how many wins?
Y'all not going 10 wins. I don't think y'all winning 10 wins.
I hope you guys go ahead and clip this and edit it right now.
Oh, we're gonna clip it.
Trey,
and save it.
We gonna clip it and save it for sure.
Because I'm gonna be looking to come back on once we hit those 10 wins. I'm gonna be like, hey guys.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Or y'all can come to my platform. How about that?
Oh. Absolutely. And we got a new trend. We got a new trend on this podcast we started last week where we have vehement disagreements, and then something got to be put on the line. It got to be some stakes put on the line. Now
we had people in the chat, bet money with our guests.
My goodness.
We have become low key. We've become like a fan duel. We've become those.
Maestro.
We've become those trade houses. You're right. My fault. We've become a trade house around here, low key. So we were broke at there.
Let me look up what the rules are about that because I'm in law school and I don't want nothing coming up where I can't get to the bar.
Exactly.
But I got you. So we got the Packers. Let me run through the schedule and tell you who I am.
That's a wash.
I will give the Packers. They probably gonna pack us right on up.
Yeah, that's a wash.
And so I'm gonna let you know that I'm pretty like I'm a realistic fan. Like I am, you know. I'm, as they say, I want to be hyped up, but I'm a realistic fan as well. Okay. So starting off the season, we're not even talking about the preseason. I'm not worried about them. Yeah, preseason's like whatever. We got the Jags. We going to Jayville.
Okay.
Somebody has already gifted me a ticket. They told me if I just got there, they got me. And she literally on my show told me she was gonna give me the ticket. Shout out to Nikki, Tatty J, and when the show was over, she sent me the ticket. So I'm there at that game.
That's what's up.
Season opener.
That's
hopefully David Tepper don't get no drinks in his hand and get mad and toss no more drinks on nobody. I hope he's
I was about to ask you if you allowed to criticize the owner. I don't know if you got like any ties to the ownership.
Listen. I am very vocal about him. This has been the best season we have had with him. He has stayed out of the business. We got, Canales actually has coached an entire season. As long as Tepper was involved, we was having a new coach every 4 to 6 weeks. I was like, "What? Who is this coach?" They replaced everybody but Sir Purr down there. All right, and so I'm excited to see that there's a maturation now of even him because he had no experience in owning sports teams before, and now he's also owning the soccer league or whatever.
FC Charlotte, right?
Yeah, he does the same thing to them that he tried to do with the Panthers. And, you're just a daddy Warbucks. You run around here with a bunch of coins and stuff. I'm sorry, David, if you're listening, but you don't know what to do with your money. So you had to get people in place to help you. That's just like me. I wouldn't know how to manage a team if I had that much money. You got to stay out of it and hire people that know how to successfully get your talent together. Or you're going to do what happened the end of the previous season, not this last one, where, people basically was talking about they were letting people in games for cups of coffee, basically. Like we were, all of our home games looked like away games in Charlotte because there were no Panthers fans there.
Yeah. Okay, let's run down. Let's go down this schedule. Let's go down this schedule.
I gotta tell you who I think y'all concerned about.
Well, more
not
importantly,
concerned
Trey,
about the Cardinals.
You know what I want to do, Trey? This is healthy. We love to do this on our show. We love to on the spur call a record. So if you're gonna read down the schedule, let's call wins and losses. We can tell you exactly. We can tell you exactly what the Carolina Panthers record is going to be by the end of the season.
Silas is so ready. He's commented multiple times that we're not winning 10 games. He done said it so many times. Please put his comment up there because he is like begging to tell me.
That's my homie that put the bet last week.
Wow. So what he bet last week?
We're not gonna disclose just because now
I go back and watch the show.
Yeah,
now we're getting into some legal stuff, Maestro.
Now we know we got lawyers about to pass the bar on now.
And we got a lawyer on right now too.
We ain't We ain't close. Look, we ain't monetizing that well yet. I need all my coins.
See, I'm monetized. So, and I've already shared y'all stuff too. So, yeah.
I need all my coin. And we need to be monetized. So all y'all, come through.
Yeah.
Come through.
We need to be the Vegas.
We just gonna talk some. We just over here talking shit that we mean,
Who's the lawyer? Who's the lawyer that's on right now?
No, you. I was talking about you.
Yeah, we talking about you.
I haven't sat for the bar yet.
No, I said you was about to pass the bar. I was claiming that in Jesus' name.
Wrap up school and graduate, but I'm headed that way.
Yeah, I was claiming that in Jesus' name. We know you.
You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that for sure. Yeah. But the schedule. The schedule.
Hey Trey, for the sake of time.
Yep.
We not doing no possibles. Win the losses.
Okay.
Let's do
Fair?
it.
All right, start
Let's do
with
Y'all got the schedule pulled up, and y'all want me to tell you who it is?
You got it.
You
All
read
right,
it well.
Jaguars is week 1.
Loss.
That's a win.
Panthers lost.
Panthers
No,
lost.
Panthers win.
I got Panthers lost. I got Panthers lost.
Okay. Panthers win.
Thank you, Trey. And I got them to win. Panthers, Cardinals in Arizona. So 2 games on the road.
Loss.
I agree. 0-2.
I'm not worried about Kyler Murray. All right.
Sure.
The next one is Falcons come to Charlotte. That is a NFC South matchup. First game.
I will give the Panthers an L there.
And
it's not to say that you should be concerned about the Falcons, because I don't think you should be. But with those division games, those things go either way. So I got y'all for the record. I got y'all splitting with the Falcons.
Yeah, we do always split with them. Well, a couple of times we sweep them, but we always split.
But that one is an L.
But I did hear in Charlotte. I did hear at home. I got to win.
I got to win too.
Carolina. I got y'all 1-2.
We usually win in Charlotte, but okay. Next game, Panthers versus Patriots. Drake May going into his 2nd season as a rookie. They got him a little help up there.
Stephon Diggs. Defense is, I agree.
If Steph
they got Vrabel gonna, nah.
That's a good defense. That's a good defense.
That's an L. That's the
short.
I'm sorry, Sonja. That's
an L. No. Okay, all right.
1-3.
All right. So, and that game is in New England as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. October 5th, we got the fish swimming to the Panthers, the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, is he gonna be healthy? Is it gonna be Daniel?
I don't think I got the Dolphins. That's a loss. Y'all not gonna be able to deal with Devin the Chain.
We never lose to the Dolphins.
I don't think y'all gonna be able to deal with Devin the Chain.
You betting all? Go ahead, Trey. What's yours?
I will give you guys the dub. I'll give you guys the dub.
I hope y'all should have been writing these down. Make sure you rewrite and take notes on this.
Miami's on a like
they are on a spiral slope. And if Tua ain't healthy and Daniel Jones gotta take
that is an interesting take that you have, Trey, considering that Tua hadn't been healthy.
Tua's not healthy. That defense is suspect. Like Miami's very They very wishy-washy.
I will try to make this as brief as I can. Tell me about Carolina Panthers strengths. What do you feel they excel at?
Well, right now the defense. I mean, we got some good solid defenses, and then the offense. Like, listen, Bryce used what everybody talked about, which was his size, to be more advantageous. I saw him duck tackles instead of worrying about being sacked. He was shaking tackles off because he was able to duck down and scramble, as opposed to running for his life like he tried to the previous season. I'm not worried about the Dolphins. You betting that win on one person, which is A-Chain. A-Chain is not the entire fish.
Well, no, but healthy Tua. Tyreek Hill is still one of the fastest wide receivers in the game, which that's going to be turned up if Tua is healthy. Let's be very clear. Jalen Waddle.
If Tyreek can actually take the field and don't end up getting in more trouble that he's not even taking the field. You got to worry about that too, because he's been in the news.
I think anybody who got money on Carolina in that game is preying on Tyreek Hill's downfall. Because healthy Tua means Tyreek Hill is not going to have that slump he had last year. I'm not going to say like that. I'm confident that disappears.
That game is in Charlotte.
Honestly, Maestro,
that game is in Charlotte.
That's a good bet. Like for Carolina
and that game
Miami,
is in Charlotte.
That's a good bet.
You might want to pull your stats on them coming to Charlotte.
Sure. I got Miami. I'm willing to be wrong. I got you.
So you got her 1-4. So you got her 1-4.
1-4 right now.
2-3. I got her at 2-3 right now.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. I don't even want to tell y'all the next team because y'all probably gonna really go bonkers, and I don't even want to hear it.
We will be nice then.
So this is an NFC East team. This is none other than the Cowboys. Dak should be back.
That's an L. That's an L.
But that's not a turbo L. And if I'm being honest, now I'm not going to go as far as to say y'all going to beat Dallas, but would I be surprised if y'all upset Dallas? I wouldn't be surprised if y'all upset Dallas.
I agree with that.
But I'm still taking that. That's an L.
Okay.
That's an L.
You got to deal with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I don't know.
George Pickens, who, if he doesn't receive a pass, is gonna pitch a hissy fit on the sidelines. He needs to get his head up. If you keep a calm George Pickens, but an upset George Pickens, look for disarray. And it's time for us to beat the Cowboys anyway. They've beat us the last couple of matchups.
That's a fact too.
Yep. Who's next on the schedule?
All right. So next we have the Jets.
Y'all will win.
That's a win.
Jersey.
That's a win.
That's a win.
You guys are confident with Justin Fields, or let's see. Yeah,
no, I'm saying y'all are going to beat them. I'm saying y'all going to beat the Jets.
Y'all can beat the Jets. Yeah, y'all can beat the Jets. Yeah.
Let's be clear about how I think the Jets season is going to go, and to be truthfully honest, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I'm upset that we weren't able to lock him in.
I was wondering. Y'all backed yourselves against the wall.
We did it. We did it. Yeah, we did it. But all that being said, I think Justin Fields is going to be running for his life. That's what I think, and I don't think that's going to bode well for the Jets.
Okay. Do you agree, Trey?
I don't know about running for his life. I haven't really studied their offensive line like that, but
Poor Sauce Gardner. Sauce has been really diminished as of late, and I like Sauce.
Yeah.
I mean,
poor
Aaron Rodgers did a lot of damage to that team before he left.
Yeah,
mentally, the morale got to be bad up there in that locker room.
Yeah, it's the ownership. The ownership is terrible up there. But that's really where it boils down to.
Okay.
I think they got a good coach, but I'll just leave it at that. But you got Buffalo on the schedule.
Hold on, who you got the Jets? You got the Jets over.
I picked the Jets. Yeah. No. I picked
the Panthers.
The Panthers to beat the Jets. Yes.
Gotcha.
And
I got a 3-4.
That's in Jersey. They're not really New York. That's in the Meadows. That's where we're going to be playing them. Yeah. The next game is the Bills, but they're coming to us. I'm so glad to know that we're not going up there. That would have been a sure.
It could be in the snow. It could be in the sun. Bills is winning.
Yeah, that's a look.
And my boy Silas here. He's a Buffalo Bills fan, so he said he's gonna pull up.
Thank you, Silas, at least for saying around 8. I appreciate that. That's not too far under the 10 mark.
And look, that would be progress. Yes.
Out of all the ones that you guys have said is a definite loss so far for us, the only ones I would say that are a definite loss is that Bills game and the Cowboys. I don't want to say definite, but just because I know how the Cowboys are. And the next game. So I have us now getting ready to lose our third game, which is against Green Bay in Green Bay. In November. So you know it's going to be cold.
That's an L.
You could pack
That's an L for anybody going to Green Bay in November.
Not anybody, but definitely Carolina.
Well, if you were the Bills or one of those northeasterner teams that deal with, or Chicago, somewhere that deal around that type of weather. But no. So all right.
Unless you're Cleveland. Then
Cleveland up there too. They up in that area.
Look, I don't.
They're gonna. Oh, that's a whole nother story. Another messy team. All right, the next matchup we should win. It's in Charlotte. It's a divisional matchup. It's against the New Orleans Saints, and with their quarterback woes, and they did get shook, but they're bent on him.
I think, for the record, I think y'all sweep the Saints.
Yeah, yes. and I think Shuck is trash.
Yeah. Okay. Not only that, they got Ben Johnson right down there, right? Now he's their new head coach.
No.
That's Chicago.
Aaron Glenn.
That's in Chicago.
No.
They got
Green
what's
Bay.
the kid? He used to be with Dallas and Philly.
Yeah. No. Kellen Moore. All I know is you see how much I care about him. All I know is they get a new head coach like folks do laundry. And the same thing with the quarterback situation. Derek Carr went to a church in Las Vegas and basically bore his soul. And the next thing you know, he quit on the team. They was already not wanting to sign him anyway. And I guess he had a revelation once he walked out of church. He was like, you know what? I'm out. So you got quarterbacks quitting on you. And let's be clear though, Derek Carr hadn't been the same since he left Las Vegas, but still, that was your last bit chance to do something. See what they've been doing? They've been betting their whole game on Taysom Hill and all those sneaky trick plays that he does. When he's a quarterback one day, he's the water boy the next play, then he's the mascot, then he's a wide receiver. Like that dude be all over the field. And so they've been betting on that, but teams have started to look and see, wait a minute, Hill is over here again. Like you got to stay on Hill. If you can stay on Hill, even though they got Rashid Shaheed is coming back, Chris Olave is coming back, Kamara's coming back. They offense got the talent there, but they don't got what we got in the defense, and we're gonna shut them all the way down in Charlotte.
And they don't have a quarter. I don't believe in Tyler Shuck. I don't believe that he's going to be the answer.
They're gonna start in week 1, I imagine, right?
I can't imagine who they would start at. Who else is there?
Right.
Who's that other dude they got down there? They got Rattler, Spencer Rattler.
Yeah,
they've
exactly.
been starting. They've been bent on Spencer Rattler, who looked good a few plays, I will admit. But then he throws as many interceptions as he does touchdown passes. So you will see him throw 3 like, oh, he's on fire. He's another Will Levis. He makes you think you did a right thing, and then all of a sudden you see the turn, and you're like, there it is. This is the reason why right here.
Yeah, but let's be clear. And I said to Trey a long time ago, Will Levis wasn't going to be no good neither. So
he looked hopeful a little bit when he first took the field. Poor guy.
I'm going to tell you what happened. He just closed his eyes and threw it in the air and knew that DeAndre Hopkins was going to come down with it that game, and he came down with it for 4 touchdowns. And
I felt so bad for him in the draft because he had got dressed all up. Honey, by the time they called him, he had went home and went to bed, and he was the only one there.
Yeah, right. But I'm sorry, bro. No disrespect to Will Levis. Why did you think you was going to go so high?
I don't know, but anybody, yeah.
Like when you get talked up in the draft, pre-draft,
like JJ McCarthy,
and you're white. That happens. Yes,
like JJ McCarthy.
No. I was talking about the white. I'm talking about how she just gave how JJ McCarthy caught a stray is what I was talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was talking about the white thing. I stand with white people.
Oh, I'm about to say, okay, yeah.
No, JJ got pumped up to be taken at number 10 by the Vikings. He was not a top 10 quarterback. He was not. Harbaugh pumped him up. Got him where he is, and you see what happened. We barely saw him last season.
He got season. We about to find out. So I will reserve. We about to find out. But I would say on that 2020 class with Will Levis, it was if I remember rankings was probably along the lines of Kenny Pickett, then Malik Willis, then Matt Corral. Yep. Some people maybe even had Desmond Ritter over Will Levis. Maybe.
I'm shocked you even remember the quarterbacks in that draft.
Yeah. That was the pandemic draft. Everybody was home watching that day.
Well, I remember it because that was it was a time
Pittsburgh.
For me. It was a time for me. I didn't want to draft Kenny Pickett, and the whole pressure, Ben Roethlisberger's leaving, and all the things. You know what I'm saying? So that was a pressure year for me. So I kind of do remember those quarterbacks that year because I knew at some point we was going to have to draft a quarterback, and God, I wish we didn't draft him that year in first round when but I digress. All that to say, the Saints are going to be they're not going to be good. I don't think they're going to be good. So
next
they're going to go marching in.
Yeah.
All right. So right after that game, we got the other NFC South opponent again, the Falcons, this time in Atlanta. I will be at that game. I never miss that game here.
Okay.
They win that one.
If I have to be the only screamer in there for the Panthers, I will be. That game is probably going to go to overtime.
They win that one. In my eyes, they win that one. I think I said that they lose in Charlotte to the Falcons.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And but I said they was going to split.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we win. We beat them the latter part of the season.
Y'all definitely took them out the playoffs last year.
Yes, that's a fact. I will give that to Carolina. Sure, I'll give the Carolina.
They got Michael Penix Jr. They're not sure if they're going to even still have Kyle Pitts. I've been hearing his name come up with trade talks. They sent Grady Jarrett, your best defensive player, to Chicago. They sent Hennessy as well. They got rid of a couple of their defensive players. they have, of course, Bijan Robinson is amazing. He's actually one of my favorite players. That dude is awesome. And matter of fact, I love him so much that on one of my promos, when my show comes on, I have him and Bryce actually greeting each other. Like, I love Bijan. And so Bijan carries that offense, in my opinion. He came in as a workhorse off the rip from day one. If the Falcons could keep Michael Penix Jr. from getting injured again, because let's be clear, he came into the league with an injury to all 4 quadrants of his body. This dude had every quadrant of his body has been hurt in college. It wasn't hurt the last couple of seasons that he was in college, but it was hurt nonetheless. And it's a different time when you're coming into the NFL. You have to acclimate to a different big boy type of play. Everybody in the NFL is the best of the best. In college, you're trying to be the best of the best. In the NFL, you meet the best of the best. So they will send all the little boys home. And if he can't stay upright, they don't pay Kirk Cousins all this money. He might have to take his blue jeans off and get uniform back up to come out there to finish some of these games.
Here's where I'm at with the Falcons. And I'm big on black men getting these head coaching jobs, right? And I'm happy that what's his name got a second opportunity, Raheem Morris.
Yeah.
But he did a couple of things in that Washington game from late last season that really just kind of had me like, yo, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, call timeout. Like, call a damn timeout, man.
4 o'clock management.
Yeah, right. And then had the nerve to just say, hey, the players, couldn't get it done. Like, nah, that's you, bro. You got to be better with that.
I went to several games. Oh, I'm sorry, Maestro. I went to several games because by me being here, when the Panthers started looking so bad, I just went ahead and started going to the Falcons games. I was like, at least I can go there and root against them. And if they lose 2, I'll feel great. It's a Falcons loss is a Panthers win, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I would go and I would just be sitting there like, because I have really good seats. So I'm always not far from the teams or whatever. And I could see, and I just be like, are you kidding me? Like, who called that? What is this? Kind of like when we saw the Cowboys game. I can't remember who they were playing. And Dak could not get the ball hiked back in time. And the time ran out. Stuff like that. There's no reason why. But, I mean, it's Arthur Blank. And sometimes he has a blank stare.
I'd be concerned about Raheem if he doesn't figure out that clock management thing. They're going to get him up out of there quick if he don't figure it out.
I don't know if it's going to be because of clock management. I mean, the truth be told is, sure, he got his flaws, but that team is flawed. It's just they just don't have the proper team around them to be successful. In my
Michael
personal
Penix
opinion,
is still a wild card, though. Michael Penix is still
sure.
We have yet to see like what he really can do.
Well, the biggest thing that they got going for him is that they're in the NFC South. It's just
it was a toilet bowl last season. Season before, and it was a crab run to the top.
It's gonna be pretty similar this year.
We haven't talked about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Let's be clear,
because I have a different opinion about the Buccaneers. I think they're a really, really good team.
They are.
I really good team. When a top 7 team in the NFC.
Top 7? I'd say top 5.
I mean, sure, they're making the playoffs because of the division, but I'm asking, do you really feel like they're a top 7 team in the NFC?
Oh, you asking me? Are they making the playoffs?
No, they're making the playoffs. Let's be very clear. Predictions. I'll spoil it.
This season they're not. This season we are.
Well, she already had the Panthers.
She said they had their double-digit
wins. So
I remember. I got you reminding me. Remind me. I gotta be forgetting sometimes. But full disclosure, my prediction is the Buccaneers win the division. They will be in the playoffs because they win the division. But I don't see another NFC South team making the playoffs. So with that being said, so what I'm saying is that do you what I'm asking you is do you feel like they're better? So Philly, obviously, the
Washington
Commanders, Detroit.
The Lions, the Eagles.
If the 49ers get their shit together,
the 49ers are done.
Okay,
they might be. I got them on. They're one of my.
It depends on if McCaffrey's able to stay in this season. McCaffrey is a difference maker. They already got rid of Ayuk. They cannot.
No. They got rid of Debo. Ayuk is still there.
Debo went to.
I'm sorry, Debo. Yeah, that was big.
But then Ayuk got injured. We don't know how he's going to come back off an injury, because even before he was injured, people weren't so happy with his productivity before injury. So we'll see how that happens when he comes back. Trent Williams is a year older, and say what you want, Trent Williams is still one of the best tackles in the game, even at his old age. So and we see what that looks like when he's injured, what that offense looks like when he's injured. So that's going to be a telltale sign about how they do. I guess what I'm getting at is
we're talking about Bucks. We're talking about
the Bucks, right? Yeah, I got you. Yep. So are the Bucks in your mind, if the Rams win a division, and we only talk about guesses and projections, are is anybody are the Buccaneers, again, the Buccaneers are going to make it because of the division? Do you feel like the Buccaneers are better than San Fran? Do you feel like the Buccaneers are better than Minnesota? Do you feel like the Buccaneers are better than the Commanders? Clearly, nobody feels that way.
Not anymore, anyway.
I think right now, I can pick 3 teams in the NFC that are better than the Buccaneers. It's the Commanders, it's the Eagles, and it's the Detroit Lions.
That's it for you?
That's it. And I know there's questions about Detroit with the lack of losing both coordinators. I know there's questions about that.
Agree.
But let me tell you something about Tampa Bay. And I know that everybody shits on the NFC South. And look, I get it. The Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints, I get it. There's not a lot of competition. I'm just talking previously up to this point. I'm not getting on your team, Sonja. So
no, I'm good. I'm
not getting on your team. I'm not,
I'm sure Sonja would understand why we would be getting on her team if we're based on
who is your team?
Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, okay. That explains so much. Okay. Between you and see, Maestro, that explains about you as well, because a lot of people in the Carolinas love the Steelers because we didn't always have a team. It's a team. My state is split with Cowboys and Steelers fans. A lot of them in my family.
Yeah.
And just a small plug. My uncle is no longer with me that I talked about earlier in the show.
God bless.
Yeah.
But he actually was really good friends with Joe Gillum. They went to school together. And everything. And I found out, my sister revealed to me, which really broke my heart, that all this time I thought my uncle was a Panthers fan. He was really a Steelers fan, and she
that's a good man.
His phone cover and everything, and it was a Steelers. And I was like, "What is happening?" He was like, "I was friends with Joe. I have to." And I was like, they went to school together in Tennessee. They grew up together in Nashville.
And you can't turn your back on Joe Gilliam. Can't turn your back on Joe.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
Yes, indeed.
Nope. But Bucks.
The Buccaneers.
Bucks.
Yep.
Yeah, I would pick those 3 teams to be better than Tampa Bay. But
I'm sorry, Trey. Can I challenge you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
You think the Buccaneers better than the Green Bay Packers?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he forgot about it. Oh
yes.
Yikes.
Oh.
Yes. And let me just throw this out there.
Sure. I just want to be sure.
I know we briefly touched on it last year, and I know it's regular season stuff. Playoffs is a different animal. The Lions and the Eagles had 2 of the best records in that conference. They were the top 2 seeds in the conference last year. The only team, to my knowledge, that gave both those teams L's in the regular season was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they also beat the Chargers later in the year when the Chargers were, kind of coming in hot, down the stretch. That was a good team. Buccaneers went in there and they beat that team. So
I'm not gonna put the Chargers in the same ilk of the the Detroit.
Well, no, I'm not putting them in the same
okay.
ilk. I'm just saying late in the year when everybody knew who the Chargers were, and when they were on a win streak, Tampa Bay shut that down and was like, "Nah, we coming for the dub." So
is it reasonable to say that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at that stage of the season were fighting for the division, and I'm not. This is not me trying to take a win away from them.
Right.
This is just saying that the stakes were a little higher with the Buccaneers than with, say, the Chargers, meaning that if the Chargers were clearly fighting for a wild card, they weren't fighting.
Yes.
They weren't fighting for a division. They were fighting to just get into the playoffs.
To just get into the playoffs,
right? Whereas the Buccaneers knew if they didn't win a division, they had no shot of making the playoffs at all.
Right. Yeah, and if you flip it, the Chargers knew they had no chance of winning the West.
So right. So they were only playing for the wild.
They were only playing for a wild card. Tampa was only playing for a division
for a division, right?
But I guess my point is that we crap on the division. And yet Tampa, I think they went 3-3 in the division. Yeah. But outside of the South, Tampa Bay can play with these other teams outside of the South. So that was my only point. Like,
okay, we don't disagree that they can play with the middle tier teams of the league. I have a hard time. I have a hard time putting Tampa Bay based on their division record. I'm sure based on the reputation of that division, I find a hard time placing Tampa Bay above Philly,
Green Bay.
I was going to go down the whole list, but yes, but specifically is where
we agree on Philly. We agree on Philly, and we agree on the other stuff.
Where it got tough for me and Sonja is you saying that definitively you feel like Tampa Bay is a better football team than Green Bay. And I think that's where I don't even
agree with that.
Yeah, that's the only team I think we disagree on. And I look in the chat, somebody said Rams. Rams might be above the Buccaneers. That's questionable. I could side with that. But
okay, I guess what I'm getting at is can we find 7 teams that we can at least make an argument are better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? That's what I'm trying to get to.
7 teams?
7 teams, meaning if they didn't win a division, they wouldn't make the playoffs.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't find 7 teams.
So Philly, Green Bay,
and this is your list.
No, I'm trying to think about the whole NFC as a conference. So Philly, Green Bay, the Rams, the Commanders. How do we feel about Minnesota?
Nah.
You got Tampa Bay over Minnesota. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I'm just throwing shit on shit on the wall.
Yep.
Cowboys.
No. The Bucks are better than the Cowboys. They are garbage.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, I would put Tampa over the Cowboys.
Right now, you put Tampa over the. Okay.
Right now.
Yep. So roughly about they're roughly the 5th or 6th best team in the NFC. Roughly.
5th or 6th. Yeah. I think if we find the median, 5th or 6th.
I agree with that. Except for this season.
Hey, look,
you guys forgot, like, we went overtime with them last season, and
you did,
like,
division game. Those things get fun.
It was close to the playoffs. If we had beat them, it would have been between the Saints and the Falcons.
In
the division. They were. Everybody was rooting for the Panthers.
Fighting for their lives. The
Falcons and Saints fans were rooting for Panthers to beat the Bucks so that one of them could go to the playoffs.
But that be the shit with me for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And sure, division games can always be funky. Like we understand.
Yeah,
but they almost missed the playoffs because they weren't almost that much better.
It's because of the division record. It's because of the division record.
It was everybody was a game apart except for the Panthers. Everybody was we were like, I think 3 or 4 games behind, but everybody was 1 or 2 games behind. That's what I'm saying. I get what you guys are saying about the division, but if you don't win your division, nothing else matters. You're not going anywhere. So they got to get through us. And if not, you guys will be having me on here talking about the Panthers. But let's be clear. The season that we went undefeated, except for the 1 game with these buzzers down here, we finished 7-8-1. Like, we were barely 500, and we got into the playoffs because it was another garbage division. So that's what I'm saying. Look out, we're coming, because this is our 10th year. We are ready to roll.
let me correct myself.
And then Trey to add. And go ahead. Correct yourself. Go ahead.
Quickly, let me correct myself. The Bucks went 4-2 in the division last year. In the conference, they went 8-4.
Okay.
So that should kind of tell you that even with the division record outside,
you talking about
the division.
You talking about one game from 500, and again, no, that's not shade to, but and again, it's still we talking shade. About, we still talking about the NFC South. So
yeah, of course.
So it's like, and again, division games get tricky. You should, but where we place those other three teams in the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons. 4-2 is kind of, I don't know. I don't know. 5-1, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking about nothing. But I don't know. That just look kind of funky to me. That just look funky to me. So again, obviously, let me be clear. I got the
4-3.
Yeah,
we almost had them.
I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this division. Let me be clear on what I have.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I'm not sure of where they stack against the rest of the NFC. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not sure about where they stack with the rest of the NFC. And I get what you're saying, and you made your point clear. Like we talk regular season from playoffs is a different thing, but we're not going to discount what they did in the regular season. We're not doing
right because you have to get those wins
because you got to get those wins to get to the playoffs.
The division, right?
Understood. And we're not talking about. And normally, if we were talking about a championship team, we're not looking at Tampa Bay as a championship team. So we're not talking about where playoffs mean more because you're automatically going to get to playoffs. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about a good team. And again, this is not me saying Tampa Bay is not a good team. I'm on the fly without, we don't script this. We don't have pre-production meetings. We talk about the shit in real time as it happens. So I'm just not confident that they're a top 7 NFC team. Confident. I'm not saying that. I'm not willing to stand up.
Okay.
You make a great point. I don't truly believe in the Minnesota Vikings, and I've been saying that since everybody was on Sam Darnold dick last year. I'm not like, the Vikings is, I'm not sold on them. So if you tell me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than the Minnesota Vikings, I'm not gonna fight you on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
right.
So you make your point.
Yeah, they got quality wins. They can get the quality wins.
They definitely have quality wins. But we are here trying to get at some point. I'm sorry that we had to put you through this, but this is how we rabbit hole. We were trying to predict the Carolina Panthers schedule is what we were.
We almost done with it. We almost done. The next game, next game is you see, we hadn't even got to the Bucks yet. The way they get the schedule is garbage. That they would put the Bucks back to back with us.
Yeah.
They doing that is a trend in the NFL that is happening.
Yes.
That they're doing that all league wide. Y'all are not the only ones getting that.
They put like a couple of opponents at you're a rival, so
But you know what? At the same time, though, I would, as a fan of the Panthers, with the schedule it is, I saw you got Tampa the last 2 weeks out of the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I would take that as a compliment because everybody, I think the majority of people are saying this is Tampa's division to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, you can argue, could be the second best team in that division. And those games could mean something down the stretch, particularly that last game of the season. So
do you think it's more about them believing Carolina Panthers could be the second best football team, or that they're the more marketable football team because of Bryce Young?
I think it's more about them possibly being the second best team.
Okay.
I don't know that I don't know that the Panthers are more marketable than the Falcons.
Well, so let's be clear. Last season we played the Falcons the same way, like every other week, and then the season before that it was the Saints. So they always give us, and they do this with all the divisions. They give you that rival one game apart, so you got some revenge time to think about getting back with them. But I think in this event, it's like, it's not the market. It's like they want to see what Bryce is going to do now that this is his third year, 3 years of time. 3 years of charm. Sorry. And they've got T-Mac. And now that we've invested so heavily in the draft and during the offseason, this is literally Bryce Young's make or break season.
Mm-hmm.
This
That's
is
what I'm
all,
thinking, too.
this is literally,
That's what I'm thinking too.
there's no time for
Yeah.
you to regress at all.
I can see your point. And the Panthers, out of those three, Saints and Falcons, the Panthers finished stronger than those other two to end the year last year. So I can see your point.
And then if you look at if you wanted to talk about division headlines, like right now we were talking about what are the headlines in the NFC South. I'm willing to bet Bryce Young is a top 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you want to say, okay, you know, the success of Tampa Bay is the top headline, and you know that them as a team because they're winning most recent. If you want to make that the number 1 headline, fine. But clearly the second best headline right now is what is Bryce Young going to do? First round draft pick, number 1 overall draft. You know, so you know, I wonder that I would fathom that it got more to do with that than it has to do with per se the Panthers being the better team outside of, you know, the second best team in the division. Just my guess.
Okay.
Schedule. We got to finish this at some point.
We got time. We got time. We good. Schedule.
Right. We on the 49ers now. And
Lost.
I'm
sorry, lost.
wow.
I'm sorry.
After we just talked about the Niners.
Y'all ain't gave me no wins.
being
You guys have not given me
good.
any wins against nobody. It's insane. You
I
gave
think
me
I
a
got-
win against
Where's that game at, Sonja?
these
Where's
little
that game at?
buzzards down. You gave me NFC South wins and nobody else right now. You guys have not given me, except Trey gave me, I think.
I
one
gave you the
game.
Jets.
I gave you the
Jets. I gave you the Jets. I gave you the Jets.
That ain't no team.
Oh,
I gave
That's
you
a
the
bunch
Jets.
of water boys in uniforms. That
I
ain't
gave
no
you
team.
Jacksonville. I gave you Jacksonville.
he gave you Jacksonville. He did give you Jacksonville. He did give you Jacksonville.
So that's 2, and I'm almost done with the whole schedule, and that's only 2 teams.
Jeez. Yeah, I got a tough schedule for y'all.
You guys are insane. You guys are insane. We won 4 games last season. I only got like 3 more games to talk about on here. Literally, the 49ers, y'all already talking about an L for that.
No,
That's
he said
not
an L.
true.
He said an L. I'm thinking about this could be an upset for Carolina.
An upset for us or for them?
No, for Carolina to beat the Niners.
Oh, yeah, and we have before, and we will again. Okay.
You know what? I'm put that as a dub. I got you 6-6 right now.
Thank you, Trey.
Good
Have you
man.
been keeping? What do you got?
I'm keeping it.
I think I got y'all at like 3 or 4. I'm not gonna lie.
He ain't got a pen. He ain't keeping track.
I thought I could do it. I wasn't expecting the rabbit hole this way.
You're gonna have to rewatch the show and jot down your notes. The next game is the Rams.
That's an L.
That's an L.
I'm sorry. That's an L. That's the team I think you should be worried about.
Jared Goff.
Jared
Goff
is
not on the Rams.
I know.
Matt Stafford, you talking about?
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I said Jared Goff, because in my mind, they haven't been nothing since Jared Goff was there.
Yeah,
I know
they won a Super Bowl
with Matt Stafford. They got rid of Goff.
Look how long ago that was.
About 4 years
Aaron
ago.
Donald's not there anymore. He's the only big fear on that team.
But not for nothing, the Rams had a decent defense last year, and way better than I thought they'd be considering Aaron Donald retired. Kyron Williams is a dog at running back. Puka Nacua, even though he got some baby mama drama going on, he's fine.
They don't have Eckler anymore. Eckler was good with them.
But Devontae Adams is on that team.
I don't care about him. Let me tell you, ain't nobody worried about Devontae. He's trending downward since he left Green Bay. He's a journeyman at this point.
If Matt Stafford doesn't airmail that 4th down pass against the Eagles, they beat the Eagles.
They beat the Eagles.
I promise you that.
Well,
I mean, it's speculation. Snow. Yeah, it's speculation.
Right, moving along, since y'all want to give me an L anyway. Next game is the Saints. Can I get a dub on that one?
Yeah.
W.
Y'all sweeping the
That's
Saints.
in New Orleans, and I have seen them play in New Orleans. Every game I go to in New Orleans, they lose though, so I'm gonna stay away from that one so we can win. That's in December.
Mhm.
And then the next one is the one you guys want to talk about. Tampa Bay at Carolina. December 21st, first day of winter. Winter is coming.
I'm trying to figure out whether the Panthers can split with the Buccaneers.
I'm going to say they can.
I think they can too.
Sonja has been such a good guest. I say they split.
Thank you.
I
so
say
much
they
for that,
split.
Jeff.
I say they split.
I think
So
so.
is that
I
my
gotta be at
dub
like
in Charlotte?
Huh?
Is my dub in Charlotte or in Tampa Bay?
Charlotte.
In Charlotte, yeah.
So
Charlotte.
that's this game.
Y'all
Yeah,
lose on the
Charlotte.
road.
Yeah.
The next game is against Seattle,
That's a dub.
but they don't have the date for it yet. It's TBD.
TBD. Yeah.
Don't matter. It's in
And the
Carolina.
Yep.
Yo, hold on. I'm sorry.
Go
Why
ahead.
did you speak so strongly that Seattle was going to lose to Carolina?
I love it.
It's Eastern time zone. That team
Okay.
don't play well when they fly
They got to
out
travel.
They got to
Yeah.
travel.
east. Yeah, late in the year, the Seahawks. Do we think the Seahawks are going to be in it week 16?
And it's going to be cold too.
Are we going to be talking about the Seahawks?
Okay,
Sam
well,
Darnold.
all right. Well,
Oh.
if you're gonna keep it all the way a buck, first of all, Sam Darnold's off a good year. So, but if we're gonna keep it a buck,
Do we really believe in Sam Darnold?
no. But you just said it. But what you just said was, do we really believe Seattle is going to be in it?
Crazy,
Nigga. Do we believe Carolina's really going to be in it?
We have just got a Super Bowl.
We just going through the schedule right now.
No. Hold on.
3 years ago. A long time
I
ago.
asked you. I just asked you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel so strongly about Seattle beating Carolina? And your answer was, "Come on, do we
you
really
said that
believe?"
wrong because I said Carolina was going to beat Seattle.
Right. And my question was, why do you believe that so strongly that Seattle was going to lose to Carolina? Pardon. And your answer come on, man. Do we really think Seattle was going to be in it?
Right. Like,
but neither team is going to be in it. Per your schedule right now and per my schedule right now.
Hold on. We just talked about this division. Right?
I'm so glad.
We just talked about the NFC South being a not very good division, but if you got 7 wins or 6 wins late in the year,
you could push it.
You could be in it. You could be in the conversation. Do you think Seattle in the NFC West is going to be in a conversation about a playoff spot, let alone the division? Because I think the Rams are going to win the division, and I think they're going to win it going away.
Okay.
I don't think Seattle, and even if you talk about wild card competition, I don't think Seattle is going to be in the conversation late in the year. They might have 5 wins at that point in the year.
Okay. To prevent a rabbit hole, do you think that you talking about in December? So about week
17.
Oh, that's where we at, week 17 right now.
Yeah, we're in week 17.
We're in week 17.
Only one more game.
We're in week 17.
So you think right by week 17 that the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be battling for the division? I'm asking the question.
No, I don't think they're battling for a division.
Okay. So don't answer. Don't say nothing else yet. So right now you're saying that the Panthers nor the Seattle Seahawks will be playing for anything.
Wow.
But you're
I'm asking you a question.
No,
I'm asking you a question.
Sure, but you're tying 2 things that I don't think are mutual.
Okay.
Seattle is different in the sense that they're in a division where they got a strong team in the division, in the Rams. Carolina's in a division where we think the Buccaneers are going to win the division, but they might not have it wrapped up at that point yet.
Okay, so let me ask my very specific question again.
Okay.
Do you think by week 17 the Carolina Panthers will be fighting for a division against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No.
So if they're not fighting for a division,
and keep in mind, I got them. What is this? Before they play Seattle, I got them
at 7 wins.
At 7 or 8 or 8 and 7. One of those 2 records.
Sure.
I got them at 7 or 8, 8 and 7.
So, but you believe by that point Tampa Bay would have clinched the division. Week 17.
Yeah.
So, in turn, the Seattle Seahawks at week 17 are not playing for anything. And at week 17, the Carolina Panthers are not playing for anything. What are they playing for? What are they?
A wild card.
They're at home. They could be in a wild card situation.
You think? Let me be. So again, you think
they may not be eliminated? They might. The Panthers may not be eliminated yet.
I take that. I will accept that. But your answer to me was Seattle ain't play. So let me ask a better question.
I'm trying to figure out how you trying to get around this.
No. You seems what befuddled me is that you were so confident in that the Seattle Seahawks are going to beat the Carolina Panthers. And when I asked you why, you said
it the wrong way, but
no, you mean the Panthers are going to beat
the Seattle Seahawks. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I got them beating the Carolina Panthers. So pardon me. Pardon me.
Maybe that's why you're.
That's why I keep
coming at it this way.
Guess work has been wrong the whole time. So
well, not yet.
maybe that's why you feel this way.
All I'm saying is that both teams are both. I just disagree with your level of, and I won't keep stretching the show. Your level of confidence that the Seattle Seahawks are going to lose to the Carolina Panthers befuddles me because neither team will be, in my opinion. We talking about my opinion.
Okay.
Neither team will be in the wild card race.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Respect.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because the Commanders are still there. That's one wild card.
Yep.
However you feel it, Dallas will be there. However you feel about the
Green Bay.
I don't think Dallas is gonna be there.
If you don't, if we got Green Bay winning the division, Minnesota's going to be in the wild card race. Detroit is going to be in the wild card race on paper.
But it doesn't mean that Carolina at that point is eliminated.
It's eliminated, sure.
That's what you have to focus on.
Sure.
We think they're not going to make it. We think they're not going to make it, but they may not be eliminated at that point. And
that's
if they
true.
Feel like they got something to play for. They're going to play.
They have something to play for. I got you. My bad. But I got them at about 6 wins right now. So I'm sorry. I got them at about 6 wins right now.
9-8. I got you 9-8, Sonja.
All right, so the last game is against Tampa again, and that's the final game. And even if we don't win that first game against Tampa, we're going to win the last game against Tampa because we're still going to be in it. We're going to have something to play for, and I think
they may not.
Good. Well, I said 10, so that's 2 games more. So it ain't like a big stretch.
I thought you said 11.
She said double digits. She said double digits.
Okay. She said double digits.
All right. 10, 17.
I was trying to hold you to a number, but that's all right.
we you know what would be the greatest thing is if we had another season that was like 2015, 16. I would be blowing y'all up to come on here so bad.
Back down memory lane.
It's week 8. We haven't lost yet. Can I come on the show yet?
We would if they are 8-0. This is my wager. If they are 8-0 mid-season, you are welcome to come on this show, and we will shut the hell up while you just get your Now here's the other part of that though. If they end the season 8 and lose every other game, we are going to reinvite you to the show.
Y'all gonna be blowing me up like she haven't seen my message yet.
Because I will have a full routine. Thank you, Mocha Bella. And one day I've been watching a lot of Joe Budden podcasts, trying to figure out how we could include a Patreon.
Yeah.
One day, me and you gonna have a behind the scenes talk about how the hell you got her at 9 wins, and it's a deep conversation. That's just kind of went in my mind right now.
Yeah.
But we'll talk.
We didn't even go through why I told you guys you wanted me to do the overview of the South aside from the Bucks.
Oh God,
well, we kind of did go through the teams as we were going.
No. She wants to talk
because very abbreviated because I don't have much for them. Let's be clear.
Yeah, because go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll be very honest and straight up. There is a three-way possibility. I will include the Falcons. I'll be nice and say the Saints are pretty much out of it. Let's be clear, they are.
We agree.
The Bucks are the favorite. Everybody's saying, but this is their 5th straight divisional title. That's why it's not going to happen. We're sick of you. Nobody's won 5 times in a row, and you're not going to be the one to do it. Of course, they've built around Baker Mayfield. He's a former Panther. He's a former Brown, and it's time for him to regress.
He put up MVP numbers last year.
Yeah, he needs to. It's time for him to have that regression year now. We're sick of you, Baker. Turn the oven off. The Falcons, they're building their hope on Michael Penix Jr. staying upright. If, God forbid, something happens with Michael Penix, goodbye, Falcons. Back to the dungeon you go. You're going to be banking on Drake London and Bijan Robinson, but without a quarterback at the helm, you're done. Of course, like I said, we built around Bryce. It's time for him to show and prove. And the Saints, with them having the quarterback issues that we talked about, and let's be clear, let's make sure, because Alvin Kamara has had some injury concerns. We got to make sure that he stays where he is, because he is the leader of that O-line. I don't care about Olave and none of these other dudes that I mentioned earlier. Without him, they are going to be comfortably dismissed from playoff contentions. The top 5 players that we worried about or that we see in this division coming into this season, of course, you got Tristan Wirfs. Nobody's talking about him, the offensive tackle from Tampa Bay. He's the cornerstone of that defense. That offensive line. And that's what you got to look about. Not even worry about Michael Evans and Chris Godwin and all them. Wirfs is consistently the best offensive tackle in the league itself, not just with Tampa Bay. So you got to worry about him from the run blocking and everything. I already talked to you guys about Bijan Robinson. He would be my second person. He's the running back for the Falcons. Quickly established, out the gate, big horse. Then, of course, back to Tampa Bay, they got Mike Evans. Is probably a top five player with them wide receiver. Even though he's aging, Tampa Bay went ahead and made sure he got that check to keep him on the roster, because he's that go-to person for Baker Mayfield, and they need that. Then let's talk about my team. We got Derrick Brown that people have forgotten about. Our defensive tackle in Carolina is the dominant force on that defense, especially after us losing Shaq Thompson. We needed somebody to come in and fill in that gap, and Derrick Brown has been that person. He's been able to stop the run game, and he's generated a lot of interior pressure, and he's the key piece to our defense at the time. Then people are not talking about, but let's not forget about Jesse Bates III, the safety for Atlanta. That is another person that you got to look at. He's been an outstanding addition. Besides the offense that we got, he's the defensive piece that was missing after Grady Jarrett was moved around. And he's been playing the safety position in a way that they actually need that. Strong coverage skills and ability to create turnovers when it's needed the most. So that's what you got to watch out is for him. Now, Baker Mayfield, of course, he's a quarterback. Chris Olave, Drake London, Vita Vea. Let's not forget about him. Vita is still that dude in Tampa Bay, and even Antoine Winfield Jr. And then Levante David. Tampa Bay is stacked. So if you look at who we worried about as far as wins and losses, you got to look at those guys that I've mentioned from each of those teams. Those are the ones. If you can isolate those guys on either side of the ball, Panthers got a solid chance.
Yeah, but y'all don't got an answer for Vita Vea.
We don't. We just got to do what we can.
Yeah, you don't have an answer for Vita Vea. And on the other side, if we're talking about trenches, I don't think nobody on that defensive line can deal with Tristan Wirfs. Anybody coming Tristan Wirfs' way is locked down. I'm trying to be positive, but it's just, look, here's the how do you let's talk about how do you feel? Bryce Young, you alluded to it, or you've said it, that he's on a prove it year right now. How do you feel he's going to stack? Not just because because it's the team around him, obviously. Do you feel like the Carolina Panthers has him in the best position to succeed on this prove it year?
Well, I will say this. They could have done more, but sometimes you got to look at up to what they've done at this point, what they could do. He has weapons, but they could have done more. I think his biggest asset is T-Mac. T-Mac coming in, McMillan, definitely coming in. Got to be that person. He's got to be able to rely on Coker, Horn. I know people have talked about Xavier Legette. If Xavier focused more on football than he did horses and derbies and possum meat, then we're going to have a better receiver, because Xavier actually disappointed me.
Yeah.
He dropped so many passes that were right there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, let the lasso go from these horses that you're out there and get your football. I think he literally sees football as just something that just came to him. It's not really what he wants to do. If he could just be a Kentucky Derby person, that's what he would do for sports. But let's look at this. Jonathan Brooks never had a chance whatsoever to prove who he was. And the Panthers got him last year. He got injured last year. He came in because the medical staff cleared him too early, so the Panthers fired all of them now.
Yeah.
And so we were banking on those dudes, Maestro.
Yeah. So look, man, I wish the best for Bryce Young. Let me be clear in that. I wish the best for Bryce Young, black man, young black man. We want all our black men.
He's taking a beating.
He is taking an ass whooping, and it doesn't seem like the Panthers are interested in. I don't know if it's we tried this and it's not working. Xavier Legette was a guy they was expecting more from. It's like
Hubbard,
these
Hunter
guys
Renfro, Jimmy Horn,
coaching.
These guys are playing hard. These guys are playing hard. And that's what I will give them credit for in the games that I've watched in the prior year.
Against the Chiefs last year.
They're playing hard football. They just don't got the talent. Like, and maybe it's something that develops.
PFF now, who actually gauged us as one of the worst offensive lines last year, actually now for this season has said we are now borderline top 10. So that's why I tell people, and this is PFF, this is CBS Sports, this is pundits out there aside from me that have nothing to lose in the game.
And projections.
We got right guards, Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. Those are potentially good guard duos that are coming to us. And even though we haven't gotten to break that top 10 unit yet, we're definitely in the top 15, top 11. Like, we're coming.
Yeah, just won't be this year though. Just my humble opinion.
But we got y'all in the preseason. I know nobody counts preseason, but we're gonna up with y'all, the Steelers, or should I say the Pittsburgh Classic? That's what I call it, the Pittsburgh Classic now.
Hey, that's not nice. That's not
okay.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Said the preseason.
I'm still mad about those single-digit wins you gave us. So.
Man,
funny.
Listen. Nah. I think if I gotta give an overall synopsis on the NFC South, much like me and Trey talk about and have talked about for you to your count 5 years now. Maybe it was a little more competitive in the first 2 years. This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers division to lose, and really everybody else, they just there. And I'm sorry. And Carolina Panthers fans, shout out to the Pantherettes. I love y'all, even though I don't know you. I love you. But I can't come on my platform and lie. I can't do it.
You missed some of these comments. People are telling you, besides Silas and Mocha Bella, besides them, Brian Arndt is in there. He's been talking, and he's a Detroit fan.
Shout out to Brian.
Pink Fan Fur is on here, and they all talked about stuff that I was talking about. So
I just can't, and forgive me, I'm not super aware of.
She down.
Yeah. Hey, that's what's up.
I love it.
I'm not super familiar with Derek Brown on that defensive line. I'm not super familiar with him. I'm not going to pretend like it, but I'll take you guys' word for it. If y'all say
people don't pay attention to the South. I'm serious. Like, even on the platform I'm on, it's a lot of Northerners and stuff like that. So They kind of overlook the South. The South as a whole really got to show up and show something to prove to make people talk about us. That's why we're irrelevant right now, but we won't be after this season.
Well, here's what you got going. Here's what the division has going for itself. You got a couple young quarterbacks in there with some promise. Bryce Young, Michael Penix Jr. We'll see how the Falcons shape out today. But I think I kind of agree with the overall consensus is that Tampa Bay is the favorite in the division. The Saints are the fourth place team. I think we all agree there. The argument is between Atlanta and Carolina. I think you could flip-flop them 2 and 3.
I think you can flip-flop them.
Depending on how you feel about both rosters, they're 2 and 3 respectively. I'm going to give the edge to Carolina because I think Carolina finished the season strong last year. Now, I get it. It's 2 different years, 2 different rosters, but you already see the potential with Bryce Young based on his play late last year.
He's capable.
Michael Penix, I need to see a little bit more, even though he came in late.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of time.
Didn't have a lot of time. Had a good showing against the Commanders, but we still need to see a little bit more. So I'm going to give the edge to the Panthers for second place in the NFC South. And as far as who I think the top 5 players in this division kind of going into the season, I got to look at Baker Mayfield. I got to look at Vita Vea. Mike Evans is still, playing top 5 receiver. Hall of Famer, by the way. Let's throw that out there.
Facts.
Let's throw that out there. I got to put Bijan in that conversation for top 5 in the division. And, man, I like J.C. Horn. I like J.C. Horn. Yeah.
One of the better cornerbacks in the league.
Exactly. I think that's my 5. That's my 5.
Okay. I didn't know we were doing top 5s, but let me see if I can freestyle it real quick. Definitely Vita Vea, no argument there. Definitely Baker Mayfield, no argument there. Definitely Mike Evans, no argument there. Can I make a petition for that wide receiver who got injured for the Saints around game 4, the speed guy? Shaheed. I won't say top 5. I'll say argument for people who might turn up this year in that division.
He's on that cusp. For sure.
I would like to put him on that on my list of people to look out for, better as opposed to top 5. I would like to put him there. And the number 5, Tristan Wirfs. That's crazy. Yeah, I can't leave Tristan Wirfs out. I can't leave Tristan Wirfs out. And so 4 out of the 5 guys is on the team that I got projected to win the South.
You probably wouldn't put Bijan there. If I know you probably wouldn't put Bijan.
I wouldn't put Bijan there, but it's not because of talent. It's because I fear that Raheem Morris don't know how to use him properly. That's my fear.
That's strong right there.
That's my fear.
Yeah. What you think, Sonja?
I mean, well, I gave you guys my top players, but I would definitely, of course, say Horn. I got to give Baker his props. Baker is the best quarterback in the division, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And because the Saints don't really have a solid quarterback, and neither do the Falcons right now, I'm saying Bryce is next. But he could reach a level of maturation. This is his real true year, honestly. That he's got to have this breakout year, so he could prove it. And Baker's a vet at this point. I was still banking on Shaheed as well with the Saints. If he makes plays on his own, if he can stay injury free despite who's at the helm as quarterback, he's good. Vita Vea, there's no match for that dude. He's scary good. And so and then of course JC Horn, like you guys mentioned it, Horn is on the horn, so those would be my top 5 players.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. You got a non-believer in J.C. Horn right there. Shout out to you, Brian.
He's Trilla. No, he's actually that good.
Yeah, I think he's actually good. Yeah, I think
he's definitely good.
I think he's actually good. Yeah, certainly, maybe not top 10, but certainly in around that area for certain.
Yeah.
I see he put Drake London up there. Let me tell you, Drake is
Drake
good
London.
in increments.
I like Drake
What?
London now. I like Drake London.
I like him
He's
too.
good in increments, but I've seen him drop. I mean, I know everybody drops a pass, but he has dropped like game changers. And so I'm not that sold on Drake London.
And Kamara's with the Bears, I thought.
Who?
Kamara's a Saint. Alvin Kamara's with the Saints.
I thought he got traded.
I don't recall that.
Really?
That's breaking news because I sure didn't.
I don't recall that.
I didn't know that.
That's why I love this podcast, because we could just say random things and be right or wrong. And I don't recall that.
I'll try to get some facts. Please confirm that. You're
right. Yeah. You know what it was? He threw out the pitch for the Cubs the other day, and for some reason I don't
even know. Oh, was it at the break? Okay, because he's from Atlanta, so I don't even know why he's throwing out pitches at Cubs games.
I thought he was at a Cubs game and he threw out the first pitch, and immediately my mind went to, he got traded to the Bears.
Yeah, we were.
No, he's from the A, so he should have been throwing out a pitch with the Braves. But okay, I don't know. Maybe he moved to Chicago.
Yeah,
that's weird.
But everybody throws the first pitch for the Cubs, it seemed like. So that's an error. That's an error on my part.
That seems weird to me though, Trey. That seems weird to me. Like in my mind, I know they know you either throw for the team you playing or the city
that you play in. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Or the city you play in or the city you from.
City you live in.
The city you're from. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That does strike us weird to me. So I can see how that might throw you off. I can see how that might throw you off though. I can definitely see how that might throw you off.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Sonja, this was great. We certainly appreciate having you on here. Again, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the folks that you was able to bring in, with us.
Shout out to the Panthers.
Yes, for real.
I want to say it was super excited, and I noticed this is episode number 440. Yes, and I am really into numbers. 4 is my favorite number. And if you reverse the 0, the 404 is my area code here in the A. So it was meant for me to be on the
episode. Let's get it.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it. It was great fun with you guys. I appreciate y'all.
No doubt.
So before we let you go, we always want to let people plug anything they want to plug. And I know you got to plug mid-show, but we want our guests to plug anything they want our listeners to tap into.
Last time.
I love Jesus. Okay.
Amen.
We do too.
All right. Amen. And you guys can find me on TikTok, The Pretty Sports Lady. I'm on Instagram, Prim and Proper Sports, as well as the Carolina Pantherettes have their own pages. My private page is Lawyer Bay Loading, but that's my private page. And then on all the other socials, the Carolina Pantherettes, Prim and Proper Sports as well. And it's all things football from a lady's perspective. Facebook never let me change my name on there. So those are my plugs. That's how you find me. And it's been really great. I really had a great time. I appreciate you all having me on. And I look forward to having y'all on my platform soon when I can brag about those 8-0 wins.
Ooh. All right. Talking spicy. I like that.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Y'all
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Be good. See you on them streets.
Be safe.
All right. See you guys.
All right. See y'all. That's dope conversations right there. Sonja Pearson, shout out to her.
I think we definitely did a lot of rabbit hole in this episode here.
It's all good, man. But it's summertime. What else I got to do?
That's a fact.
on a podcast on a Tuesday evening. Cause shout out to her. In her, her platform, Prim and Proper Sports. You can find on YouTube also. The Carolina Pantherettes.com is where you can find information on her lady fan club for the Carolina Panthers. And quick apologies to the folks out there. Sheena Quick could not come on with us this evening. So there's that. I got a couple quick hitters, and then I'm gonna be done here. Shout out to Darren Waller, came out of retirement. And I didn't even realize like the Giants still kind of had his rights, but he got traded to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Which I don't see any kind of, I don't know
replacing
how good
Jonnu Smith. Trying to replace Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, sure. I just don't know how good Darren Waller is at this point in his career. He's been away from football 2
3
years.
years. Yeah, 2-3 years. Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
2-3 years.
I don't know that this makes Miami like
No.
back in the mix for a
No.
playoff spot or anything like that. So
man, yeah, no, I mean, certainly we've spent a long time trying to figure out how we can get the Carolina Panthers in the
to win the
playoff
NFC
hunt.
South,
or at least in the playoff hunt. We could certainly keep the Miami Dolphins in the playoff hunt with or without Darren Waller. So
yeah, for sure.
There's that.
Yeah,
I mean and to be, I mean, I ain't gonna say the AFC East is wide open because it's the Bills division, but certainly, how you feel about wild cards? I mean,
I'm struggling to find one right now.
A space for the Dolphins, you mean?
A space for anybody to get a wild card spot in the AFC out of the East. I'm struggling.
Oh, out of the East. Got you.
Out of the East. Out of the East. Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, okay. I'm with you. I mean, they give 8-9 seed in the AFC, the Dolphins.
But talk to me at the start of the season, and I may change my tune a little bit.
Yeah,
the rosters are kind of set. The rosters are kind of set at this point. It's really all about training camp.
Are you confident in that? Like, you don't think like for instance,
yes, somebody could get cut.
Yeah, well, more than that, like in Steelers news, or Steelers rumors, let me say. There's a rumor going around that we are still actively looking for a number 2 wide receiver. So so if somebody of the likes of a Chris Olave comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a veteran minimum with with the team surrounded, you know what I'm saying, then there's there's at least a conversation to be had.
Solve something. Yeah.
There's a conversation to be had about, how I'm feeling about my team, but I'm just saying there's a conversation to be had. If a similar thing could be said about the Ravens. I mean, not for nothing. You add a pass rusher, and then look, there's a conversation to be had.
And I don't know where Davion Clowney is, but I guess we could have incorporated him in the Panthers conversation because he got cut by the Panthers this offseason. I don't know where he's at right now. I don't know his status, but
if for some reason you could get Trey Hendrickson to come to the Baltimore Ravens, there is a conversation that needs to be rehashed about the state of the AFC. You know what I'm saying? So there's moves to be made. I don't know if anything that blockbuster is going to happen, but
if certain guys that are expecting money don't get their money, potential holdouts,
TJ Watt,
those things. Yeah, Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson, like we talked about, the kid they drafted, Cincinnati,
Shakur Sweat.
They still got issues, trying to find a deal with him. So yeah, those things can certainly, turn something into nothing. And I think we're kind of saying the same thing. Somebody could get cut, and that person could be on a vet minimum on a good team that could use that spot, that could fill that spot.
It just ain't over yet. Like, I don't think the
I can see that.
Done. I don't think the rosters are set. That's it. That's all. My brief headline or whatever. Joker is not accepting his extension in Denver.
Interesting.
But
not accepting the extension.
Let me tell you exactly what
okay. I don't want to confuse extension with option here. I don't want to.
That's why I'm saying let me go get the story really, really, really hopefully super quick. Because I don't know what else is it. No, Joker has informed Nuggets that he will not be signing contract extension this offseason.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, that's common.
That's common. Okay.
That's common. I mean, you ready for another shocker, like them trading him now or mid-season like Luka got traded? That would just shift everything. Yeah. I don't believe that to be the case. I believe that he will play the entire year in Denver next year. That's just my belief. They could always renegotiate the following offseason. They can always, come back to the table for that. So, nothing new there. Nothing earth-shaking.
Nothing pressing. Okay. I will. Okay. And Bradley Beal is a front runner for the Clippers if you care. Low key, the Clippers are putting together a little squad. I'm not gonna sit here and act like they not. They are low key putting together a little squad. And
they made a trade, right? They made a trade with the Heat. They sent Norman Powell to the
Heat. But I just saw that shit, and I got to do a better job at screenshotting shit. But they got a little squad. Even with Norman Powell gone, they have assembled a little squad. And there's a rumor going around that Chris Paul might play his last year in LA.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a rumor going around that he might back up James Harden at point in LA. So take what you want from that. If they can pull off Bradley Beal and Chris Paul, I'm not going as far as to say this is a championship team. I'm just saying that they're gonna have a squad.
And quick news here. It just broke. Wizards related.
The Wizards traded Kelly Olynyk to
because he just got there, right? Like he just got there, right?
Yeah, but
he's a flip. He's a flip, pretty much.
But let's be clear. I knew he was a flip, which is why I don't even feel like we talked about it last week. Because I knew it was a flip. I knew Kelly Olynyk was a flip. So
Yeah. So I just saw that on the timeline.
I did see that too.
20-something minutes ago it broke. So. But my last thing for me, I just want to congratulate the WNBA on expanding to 3 more cities. It'll be staggered over the next 3 to 4 years. So Philly, Cleveland, and Detroit will get WNBA franchises within the next 5 years. There's talks of the Detroit team going back to the original Detroit Shock. That won championships with Swin Cash back in the day. There's talks of the Cleveland franchise going back to the Cleveland Rockers when the league first started. And then Philadelphia will be an entirely new franchise as Philly will have the team for the first time in the WNBA's history. So
no comments though.
No comments on what?
Comets. Houston Comets.
No comments. Yeah, that's the one, man. To me, that's the one they got to bring.
That's back. Like no shade to the W, as you guys like to call it. But you could have go ahead and did that Philly team and go ahead and bring the comments back.
I'm gonna clip this up. I'm gonna clip it up. You know the Philly fans gonna be. But nah, I'm with you. If you can't tell the story, it's hard to tell the story about the Comets because they don't exist no more. But you brought that franchise back, then I think the league will be in a much better.
Man. I feel like you gotta kind of see. Because when they was rocking. When the Comets was the Comets, like, come on, man, that team was a squad.
4 in a row.
Swoops in them, like, come on, man, that was a squad, bro. Like
Coop
that.
And Tina Thompson.
It's no reason why that franchise is not a franchise. Outside of the obvious business money, how it worked out as to why they're not a team right now. But y'all need to figure that out. Bring the Comets back. Yeah. And that's what I care about when we're talking about the W. I'm sorry, Philly WNBA. They don't got no history with me right now.
4 chips in a row to start the league.
I want that old thing back.
They gotta find a way to make that happen. But to add these 3 teams, it would now bring the league total to 18 teams.
8 teams.
Because you got the Toronto franchise starting next year, and then after that, you got the Portland franchise starting.
Toronto and Portland before the Houston Comets.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Portland had one. And Portland had a team like the early 2000s, but it was like a quick.
I was about to say, I didn't even
3 years. It was a quick 2-3 year stint.
I don't even recall that. Yeah.
And like you said, financial situation.
Sure.
They weren't able to hold on to the team. So.
But shout out to them. Shout out to Cleveland. Shout out to Philly. Shout out to Detroit. And shout out to Toronto and Portland and the Knicks coming. Shout out to all the teams getting expansion.
Bring the Comets back.
But bring the Comets back, bro. Like get it together, man. Get it together.
Back and let Cheryl Swoops invest in the team or something. Like, man. Shout out to everybody in IG. I forgot to shout out to IG live chat. We got Pays and Plays podcast
What up?
in here. We got conscious music in here watching
Yes,
us
sir.
here. He says go Falcons. I guess that was when we had Sonja on.
Mm.
So that was dope. And quick shout out to her, for coming through.
Absolutely.
Some dope stuff right there. Folks, continue to support the brand. We got a whole bunch of merch stuff, t-shirts, hoodies, and it's not hoodie weather yet, but we got t-shirts here. Click that QR code if you're interested. We also got white tees, black, navy blue, gray, all the basic colors, and then still got some of these hats, these new era snapback trucker hats. Some good hats right there. See the homie Maestro.
Together, man. Hold on, let me turn it around.
See the homie Maestro right there with the fresh cut and the hat.
Hey, yeah,
some good stuff.
A little something.
Yeah, fix that Stevie Wonder right there, and you be all right.
I'm working on it. God working on me every day, gang.
No doubt. Yeah, scan the QR code, folks. We got some good stuff coming up. Continue to follow us on social media. Follow us on the Facebook page, on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. You can find that man Maestro Styles everywhere at Maestro Styles. You can find me at Trey Frazier on Instagram and also on Facebook. You got questions, comments, hit us up on the email at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And then also, if you're listening on the audio side, Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, drop a review. Let us know what you think about the show. It definitely goes a long way. Man, another dope one. Certainly looking forward to next week. Looks like we got the NFC North review next week. So stay tuned in for that. Love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there, folks. And as always, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey Frazier and Maestro Styles, we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey shot with the blade, we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.